at the end of the day, like, you're making $10 an hour off of each of your guys. You can't have all this shit making $10 an hour off of a few people. Here, you're making $50 profit after all expenses on everybody that works for you. You're making tens of thousands in profit daily. That's how you make money in this business.
Yeah.
Like the team synergy, because now we have like 2 crews working on the pool last week, and I love, like, I was walking around to like last week, and I love how you guys were like hanging out while you were working. So great team synergy between 2 crews.
Good. I figured out the twisty.
Yeah.
I got mine
Good. How about this week? What do you want to learn? What do you want? What do you need? Resources, skills. What do you want?
I want to use that new saw to cut one of the timbers.
I want to use that new saw.
Oh yeah, everybody wants to use that new chainsaw skill saw. Yeah. Good. All right. What else? Anything else?
More ties? More rebar ties?
Yeah.
That's about it.
Good. Okay. Well, thanks everybody. So one thing that we really like to do is every morning before we start up equipment, start working or do anything, we always set up a laser level. We just don't think that you can do any work. This type of work is far too detailed and far too precise to even get started working without a laser level set up. So it's just a given that the first tool that we put together in the mornings is the laser level. That way precision is top of mind and there's no excuses when grades are not put in perfectly. And this week we're gonna get the guys really going on a couple of things. Number one, we're gonna work on getting the pond ready for concrete. So Dave and his team are working on the brick wall here. We're super excited to get this wrapped up.
Yeah, we're just working on our cutouts for our skimmers for the pond here. We're having an issue with one of them. We have a really big rock in our way, which is preventing us from getting our hole deep enough. So we tried to go at it with the Milwaukee battery powered jackhammer and we couldn't get it to break because it's so big. So we're just waiting for my uncle to kind of get his opinion because I'm unsure of kind of if we should keep using our time to destroy the rock and then put it in there, or if we should just wait and move it to a whole different location. So we ended up just cutting a hole on kind of an angle in our form to put the pipe through, and then just kind of shimmied the skimmer over to a different angle and then kind of moved around some of our rebar to make it sure that we'd be flush once all the concrete was sprayed.
So we decided to do the planting in 4 main phases. First we started in the backyard, and now that this area behind me is all finished up, the flagstone pathway's in and the grades are up, this section here is ready for planting. So this week we're gonna do phase 2 of planting and take it right back to this section. And then of course, lots of work happening in that next section next door, and it's gonna be a few weeks before we get there. There's still the building to build, the gazebo to put up, and the koi pond to get completed. There's gonna be lots happening around the shop this week. The shop has been filling up with all kinds of new tools as we ramp up the season, and We really like to label all of our shelves and create zones that match the equipment trailers. And we like to build tool lockups and material lockups so that we can track outgoing tools and materials. So the guys are going to be building those lockup storage units and labeling everything this week. So there's going to be lots happening around the shop to really allow us to continue scaling up the business.
Today was really good. I was working in the pond section. It was definitely a very good day.
Okay, so this project, I have just gotten in pictures here on this one. I don't have, there's no design or anything.
Yeah.
So this is really just some warranty planting that somebody else, I guess, didn't warranty for whatever reason. So it's just a lake house with a few dead trees, and the dead trees are really, they're dead. It's because they were planted way too deep in wet soil. So the recommendation that I made was to actually go back in, take the plants out, raise the grade by bringing in some fresh topsoil, put in a drain that drains this area to a lower swale, which is going to remove the groundwater problem, but then also plant the trees significantly higher than they were before, and then also change the species out to be a species that handles little moister ground conditions. So a little bit of a rework of somebody else's work here is really all this is. Often are the ones over the years in my own business where I felt like we would almost underprice smaller jobs like this. Like, it's not that small of a job. It ends up to be a $25,000 job, but yeah. These type of jobs we would underprice because we wouldn't really think of the mobilization, and we wouldn't think of all the time to set up the job.
Yeah.
I'll kind of walk through it, give you a little bit of an overview of what I was thinking when I put it together, and then this type of meeting would be really important for you to be able to go through with the crew leads that are going to get sent out to do the job, so they know what you were thinking when you put the quote together. And quite often on bigger jobs, I really like to actually sit down with the crew managers and get them to kind of commit to the estimate before we send it out. So each week, a good practice is to have a production meeting where you bring in the crew managers, you roll through any estimates that you're about to send out proposals to clients, just to make sure that they think you've got enough hours based on what you're doing. Let's have a look at removals. So the trees are still there. There's basically, you can see here I've got an estimate note to describe exactly what we're there to do. Basically, we're just going to go in and remove all the dead trees. For the actual removals, we've got an excavator, just a 3.5 ton Cat 3035. We've got a Cat 265 skid steer, again, just 4 hours each, so shouldn't take too long to get the old trees out. Next up, under planting, this is 32 hours. So what we've got here is the dump truck for a day, the float for a day, 4 16-foot Serbian spruce. Those are going to come out of our own Port Hope farm.
Yeah. So
it's all big plant material. It's all going to be 44-inch root balls, so it's going to be big and heavy. slower going planting. So we've got 32 hours on for this. Those are the breakdown of the work areas. It's all pretty doable. I don't think anything's tight, but I think we've got lots of opportunity to stay on track as well. So total 72 hours for the crew. The direct cost is $15,300. With the overhead, it's $20,600, and then with 16% profit or 16.4% profit, you're at $24,647.
So Jake, when it comes to pricing out your jobs, the thing that we always care about is the net profit, and I think that's a big myth because we don't really need to only focus on the net profit. We want to speak about the revenue per labor hour. So your revenue per labor hour is how much revenue you are generating back from every one labor hour you have at that job site. Mm-hmm. It's a simple formula. It's your selling price for that project divided by how many labor hours you have in cost to get that project done. So when you come into the analysis tab of that estimate, there are two numbers that I would always advise you and at some point our sales team not to send the quote out to a client until they actually check that number and compare it to our budgeted number, because we have a plan, we have a strategy, and our sales plan and our numbers were built based on that strategy and plan. So if you see here, the software tells you, like, Jake, for this division of yours, every single hour you spend out in the field, your client should pay you a minimum of $201 in revenue for you to hit your goal with the amount of hours you budgeted for that year for labor.
So we just have to make sure that every time we put a quote out, it's either 200 or higher for the whole year. And provided the jobs come in on time, then you end up hitting your sales goal for the year and you hit your profit goal, you recover your overhead, you've been paid, everybody's been paid, everything's great.
So when you look at this estimate in specific, we're hitting $342 an hour. Simple math, it's how much we're selling this job for, and that's $24,000 divided by how many hours in labor we have budgeted, which is around 72 hours. So over here, every single hour, again, if we don't go over, if we don't end up doing more than what we budgeted, this job pays you $342 an hour, so you're gonna hit your budget faster and get more money. Everybody goes home happier. So,
and the price to the client is really fair because you've got the best equipment to do the job, which means you can get the work done faster with lower labor hours, which actually keeps the cost really in line. And then the other thing is, because we have our own nursery, you can sell the trees at a really competitive price because you're not paying the markup from the others. So when you've got the trees, you've got the equipment, a well-trained team, you can actually be very competitive, earn a 16% profit where other companies probably aren't even profitable yet. And if you've got the right level of service and you really are treating these customers with the respect that they deserve, word travels fast.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm making a proper bridge to our ladder over there because it was not secure at all. You'd step on the end of the board and the backside come up and you're like almost falling in the pond. And with exposed rebar everywhere, it's not really a great idea. So I'm not sure whose great idea that was to do that, but I'm gonna fix it before someone hurts themselves.
Keeping everyone safe.
Exactly. Safety man. Safety man Jake.
okay, so my name is Christian, and I'm working with Landscaper and Private Paradise to make sure that all the SOPs, the processes, the systems that we put in or we advocate for in Landscaper, we're actually successfully deploying those for Private Paradise. So when it comes to systems, just having 8-9 different software is not the case here for us to be more efficient, more profitable. The idea is the systems that we are implementing are actually interconnected in the back end with one goal in mind, which is successful implementation. So what I'm working currently on are three main softwares. First one is LMN, second one is Greenius, third one is Synthesia. I'm a big fan of these three softwares. Why? Because on LMN we do all our business management kind of processes, from budgeting, which is the core for any business, all the way through estimating, scheduling, job costing, time tracking, crew lead efficiency tracking, or whatnot. On Greenius, that's our training software, and Greenius comes with a great library of training, but at Private Paradise and Leanscaper, the addition that we're doing here is, what we're doing at Private Paradise is that we're taking those Leanscaper SOPs and we're making them Private Paradise specific, and then we want to build in a system that helps to train on those SOPs without us being on top of it, without us dedicating time of our day to actually sit and do those trainings. An SOP is a standard operating procedure. It is a Bible. It's a way that we put in for anybody and everybody to be doing the exact same thing without them calling 8,000 different people. Because in landscaping, it gets so chaotic. Like, how do I do this? How do I do that? Who do I call to learn how to do this? And that's waste. Every single hour we waste talking to each other about something that can be put up in a Bible. It's waste, and we're losing money here. So standard operating procedure, in this case, we're building one for crew manager communication. Every single time I hire a new crew lead, and after 3-4 weeks into the job, and I now officially make him one of our crew leads, and I want to train him on in Private Paradise, our standard operating procedure for you to tell us what's happening at a job site, how often, what's your role, what's your responsibility, what is the expectation, what are the tools that we're going to equip you with to give us clear communication, is stated in this document. I convert those documents to videos and I push them into our LMS learning management system. So when I hire a new crew lead, I set up a timer. After 90 days of hiring, they have to take this course, in which they will find a video that explains about what is Private Paradise's standard operating procedure when it comes to crew lead communication. And once this is done, everybody will have a system that works for them without them working on the system. So whether you're a startup or whether you've been in the business for 10, 20 years, you will always be hiring. You will always be growing. So for startups, this is important because as a startup, you don't have time to be everywhere. So when you build in these SOPs and you build these systems in place, the systems will work for you. In our industry, there's this misconception that I'm gonna buy 8, 9 different systems and I'm gonna get better. That's not the case. Buy those systems, but if you don't spend time implementing these systems and building them for them to work for you, it's just waste. So you should have these systems in the back end built in, working correctly. So you as a business owner, you focus on growing the business, you focus on getting more done, but the system will work for you. So it doesn't matter whether you're a startup or you've been in the business for a while, systems and implementing those systems is super important.
Yeah, today went really well. We finally got our rebar cage done in our pond, ready for concrete. Yeah, looking forward to Friday, getting all the concrete poured. It'll be very cool to see that all finished.
Yeah? Well, you got 8 years on it.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the concrete truck to show up. For now, we're just getting all the safety equipment organized, gloves, ear protection, eye protection, masks. The masks are really important. For this type of concrete work, it comes out kind of half dry, so that releases a lot of silica dust into there, which is really bad for your lungs. It's pretty dangerous, so you got to take the masks very seriously when cutting stone and working with this kind of concrete. We have respirators designated to all the guys now.
Yeah, so today we're gonna shoot the pool. The concrete truck's here. We've got the pump all set up. we're all ready to roll in here. All the rebar is all complete, all the plumbing's been inspected, and we're confident that we're ready to go ahead and shoot the concrete. Yeah, so once this truck gets changed, what we're gonna do next is actually bring the concrete up to the floor height on the bench all the way around.
Okay.
If we get that up to height next, we want that done as soon as possible so that that dries enough that
We can
we
finish.
can then do the upper tier by standing up there, because otherwise it's a long reach. So I'm gonna focus on getting this all the way around. So while you're on the gun, what we want to do is bring that right up to the floor height, get that nice all the way around. Then we're just going to start to shape and shave the bottom a little bit. And while that's drying, because we need a bit of time for that to dry, we'll jump up and do the upper waterfall. We'll bring that right up to floor height and do the whole wall all at once while everything else is drying. So what we have to do is kind of time the concrete now. We're probably about another half hour before we start to hit that with the trowels, but we'll kind of touch it with the trowel and kind of show you what that sort of looks like, right? We want it to stand up on its own and be really stiff before we start to carve it.
Okay.
Otherwise, you just loosen
Just
the concrete
flops
on the cage and you end up with little voids on the rebar. So
Yeah.
we don't want to touch it too soon. So, but we'll let it sit. We've got lots of help here today too, so.
Yeah, this week was really good. We got a lot done. We got the brick veneer done on our big concrete block wall, which looks awesome. I'm super happy with how it came out. And then we got our all concrete all poured and finished in our pond and all smoothened out. Definitely a really busy week. We got quite a bit done, but definitely looking forward to next week.